Good morning, UUSS, and welcome. I invite you all to rise in body or spirit for a rousing version of Spirit of Life, Fuente de Amor, as we celebrate the coming of autumn. We celebrate many gifts in our lives.
But we don't have lyrics
Life, life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Oh, in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Let's take that verse one more time together. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí. Y al corazón cantaré tu compasión. Sopla volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraígame.
Good morning. Welcome to this first day of fall. So glad to have you all with us this morning. I'm the Reverend Lucy Bunch, serving here today with Andy Cramer, our worship associate, and our music team, Anthony Tavianini and Irina Tchantceva. Today is a question box service, and Reverend Roger will be taking your questions, so stay tuned. Whether you're here in person or joining us online, we are glad that you're here. In the spirit of beloved community, we honor the Nisenan, Southern Maidu, and Miwok peoples for their enduring commitment to steward this land where UUSS exists. We recognize that they have never ceded, left, nor ceased to care for this place. If you're on Zoom, make sure to click on the link in the chat to see an order of service. There are many ways to connect with this vibrant community. Each week we have tables in the welcome hall and on the patio where you can get connected or fill out a newcomer card to receive our weekly message. You can also do that online. There should be a link in the chat. Each week the blue sheet, anybody have a blue sheet? There we go, yay. The blue sheet will tell you everything you need to know about what's happening in the week and coming up. Join us if you're here in person on the patio after the service for coffee, tea, and opportunities to meet and greet. And we will have a breakout chat room for those of you on Zoom to have a chance to get to know each other. I have several important messages that I want to share today. Our postcard writing continues in support of the election. We're part of the UU The Vote team that's reaching out to swing states to help make a difference. You can get your questions answered and postcard or letter writing materials on the patio. You can't miss the big whiteboard with all sorts of information on it. I think we're up to at least 2,500 postcards, maybe more, that we've sent out. So, almost what? Almost 5,000. Go UUs. Wow, let's keep it going. I received one of those postcards from somebody during the election in, what do they call those elections? Not preliminary, but primary. And I went, it was about a school board. I'm like, oh, I didn't vote for them because they were conservative, but I was very inspired by the postcard, so they do make a difference. The Getting to Know Family Promise workshop that was scheduled for this afternoon had to be canceled due to illness of one of the leaders, so we will announce a new date soon. Our People of Color Caucus holds their monthly meet and greet today on the patio after the service. If you identify as a person of color or have a mixed race background, please stop by the table and introduce yourself and share in conversation and snacks. And coming up not too long is our service auction Fall Flamingle. You probably could tell the theme back there with all the pink there in the welcome hall. It's a happy hour style event on Saturday, November 9th. There'll be sips and small bites, a live auction with our fund in need, and theme baskets, and a 50-50 cash raffle. Ooh la la. Childcare will be provided, and tickets go on sale on October 6th. The silent auction will open on October 26th, and you'll be able to bid on your favorite outings, themed dinners, and services offered by our members. If you want to make a donation to the silent auction or a raffle basket, they're being accepted now, and you can't miss the flamingo table right there. I'm looking at it right in front of the buffet in the welcome hall. So please check out with them and make your donation. Now let's take a moment, please, to silence your cell phone or any device that makes noise. And if you notice that your neighbor's cell phone's going off and they seem to be a little challenged by how to make it stop, don't hesitate to help them. We take care of each other in this way. So come now, let us enter into this place of sanctuary as a community of love and support.
Morning. It's good to be with all of you here and online. This morning, Rebecca will be our chalice lighter with Andy assisting. Around the country and around the globe, Unitarian Universalist congregations begin our services and our small group meetings with the ritual of lighting a flame within a vessel crafted in the form of a chalice. Please join me by responding to what I say with the words in bold. On this new day, we gather as people of all ages from all stages of life with gifts and needs. From near and far, in person and online, we gather as one community. We kindle this flame, the symbol of warmth, of insight, of commitment.
May it remind us of the blessings of life on this planet Earth, our home.
We gather on this day of autumnal equinox, which begins the fall season. Let us learn to wait for the subtle shifts of color and light in this new season. Let us honor the gifts of earth and sun, of trees and fields, of harvest and rest.
May we show gratitude for all good gifts.
We seek the wisdom and the courage to be loyal stewards of these gifts. On this new day, let us find renewed strength in reciting together the words of the stated mission of this congregation. We come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world. I'd like to invite Crystal Fountain up, as well as Reverend Lucy.
Good morning. I'm Crystal Fountain, the coordinator of religious education here at UUSS, and today we mark the start of a new program year in RE. Here's what our volunteers and staff will be offering. For children from kindergarten through grade 5, we offer Soul Kids during service every Sunday, and among other things, we have a series focused on the new UU principles using Legos. Our youth groups will begin on the first Sunday of October, both for senior high youth and middle school aged youth. They will meet during the service on the first and third Sundays of the month for community building through conversation, support, service projects, and other fun activities. Also starting next month, we are planning to start signups for Our Whole Lives, or OWL, for youth in grades 4 through 6 and 7 through 9. OWL is a Unitarian Universalist sexuality education program, which is values-based and age-appropriate. It is led by trained volunteer teachers, and of course, we continue to have professional child care every Sunday morning, and we appreciate the parents and other volunteers who sometimes step in when there's a need in the nursery.
And as we start this new year, let us remember that Unitarian Universalism is a faith that has the power to save lives, to shape lives, to sweeten and soften the lives of children and teenagers who are living in a world that can sometimes be harsh, lonely, unjust, and unkind. May our programs here be a source of belonging for our children and youth, a place that holds them in love. May it give them strength as they navigate their complex and rich lives, and as they grow into the people who they are meant to be.
Now we offer a moment of blessing. If you are a child or youth, and if you're willing, please take the hand of a parent or another trusted friend as you received, a trusted grown-up as you receive this blessing. Adults, all you adults here and all those online, please place your hand over your heart.
If you are a current, past, or upcoming volunteer in religious education, or if you are now thinking about it, I want you to know that our young people will remember you in the years to come. They will remember you because you will make a difference in their lives. Now I have some questions for you. As you serve with our children and youth, will you invite their questions and ideas? Listen to their joys and sorrows and give them the gift of your authentic and steady presence. If so, say, we will. In this important ministry, do you promise to work together with other adults as a team, supporting one another with your creativity and reliability? If so, answer, we will. We will. In serving together, we wish for you patience and strength and wisdom. We wish you grace and good humor.
If you are a parent or other responsible adult for a child or youth in our congregation, I have a question for you. Will you help your children and youth as they build community here? Will you get to know the volunteers who serve them and learn about the program, ask questions, and offer to help out? If so, answer, we will.
And now, we ask all the adults of this congregation, will you recognize, affirm, and protect the light in the heart of each child and youth? If so, answer, we will.
Will you support their religious upbringing by making this a place of joyful welcome, a place where they feel known and where they know they are loved? If so, answer, we will. We will.
And as you are called, will you support this ministry with our children, with your time, your treasure, your talent? If so, answer, we will. We will.
Now, everybody here in person and online, please repeat these lines after me. We dedicate ourselves to learning and growing together.
We dedicate ourselves to learning and growing together.
We appreciate our ministries of religious education.
We appreciate our ministries of religious education.
We celebrate our community.
We celebrate our community.
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Well, now in that spirit, I'm going to go off and lead RE with the kids today. And we're going to do some vocal play. So we're going to make interesting sounds with our voices, sing and dance around the room, and I'm hoping to entice some of you adults to come over and join us. And as we head out, Anthony will lead us in our Sending Away song.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And lead with love.
Thank you. This is a caring community, and one of the ways we reflect this is through our sharing of joys and sorrows, hopes and prayers. And if you have news to provide for a future service, you can let the ministers know by clicking the link in the Joys and Sorrows section of this Friday's email message, or you can contact us directly. We celebrate those who are marking milestones of life this week, those preparing for journeys and adventures near and far, and those happy to be coming home. In particular, our member Sally Wilkins has returned home after 2 days in the hospital for an infection in her right hand after she was bitten by a dog. It has been an ordeal and a painful one, but Sally is now healing well, and she appreciates all the help that she has received. We continue to extend our healing prayers to our members and loved ones who are going through medical treatments, awaiting upcoming procedures, doing rehabilitation after injuries, dealing with complications from COVID-19, with the frustrations of dementia, as well as other challenges of mind and body. Let us pause now to bring to mind any who need our care and our love, including loved ones who are providing care for others. And we send prayers for strength, for healing, for peace. And speaking of peace, we cannot forget the many places where there is no peace. Near the border between Lebanon and Israel, fighting between the Israeli military and Hezbollah terrorists has put more civilians at risk in both countries. Israeli airstrikes have destroyed homes and lives around Beirut, and explosive electronic devices targeted against terrorists have killed, blinded, or maimed children and other bystanders. We lift our voices for an end to the cruelty and senselessness of retaliation. We pray for safety and for peace for all. In the small city of Springfield, Ohio, immigrant families from Haiti are the targets of verbal and physical attacks. Schools have been closed because of bomb threats, because of lies told by the former U.S. president. These lies are maintained by his vice presidential candidate, who is endangering people in the very state he represents as a senator. We lift our voices of indignation against this cowardly hate-mongering. We pray for safety and peace. In San Bernardino and Los Angeles counties, spreading wildfires continue to destroy habitat and wildlife and to threaten human communities. Firefighters and relief workers continue their arduous work, and we give thanks for their service. We pray for safety and peace. Beyond these walls are so many places where people are longing simply to be free and safe. Let us remind ourselves and bear witness to the shared humanity of all people everywhere. And now, with all these prayers and other prayers on our hearts, let us affirm the goodness of our own bodies with a time of silence together. We will take a minute or two of silence after I speak the next few sentences. First, I invite you into an awareness of your body, whether you're seated or reclining or standing. Relax your eyes, whether open or closed. Relax your shoulders, your neck, and notice the flow of your breathing in and out. Notice the breath again as I offer these words of prayer. O Spirit of life, whom we feel in the rising of an in-breath in our bodies, enliven us for the gift of this day. Renew our connections to all members of the human family and our connections to all beings who share this planet with us. May everyone, everywhere, be safe and peaceful and free. Help us to share hope and encouragement, gratitude and joy with one another. Remind us that each one of us has the power to practice patience, to show kindness, to nourish peace. Spirit, of life, turn all our senses toward the beauty of this world, this day and every day. So may it be. Blessed be, and amen. And now let us share a time of silence to be followed by music. Blessed be.
In times where the world feels overwhelming and where our difference-making capabilities seem minute, let us listen and turn inwards so that we might then reflect it outwards as we sing Voice Still and Small, number 391. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear your call singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years singing. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear your call singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years singing.
So we have received some questions. I have received some questions from several of you, some long-timers and some brand-new folks. And I've had a chance to think about them, which doesn't mean they'll be answered any better than if they were just delivered today. But Andy will give me the questions, and then and a little bit later we will have a chance for spontaneous questions. There's 2 tables in the back, I think, with pieces of paper where you can write your name and your question. So, Andy.
This is exciting.
Okay.
You excited, Roger?
Not yet.
Because where UUs, we have questions. The first question, what is the spirit of life that is referenced in some songs and prayers?
Well, it's a metaphor. It's a phrase of symbolic words that evoke, invoke, stand for, represent a lot of things. And I wouldn't want to prescribe what you should think of when you hear that. I assume it falls on different ears in different ways. But a couple of things that occur to me is that, for those who are theists among us, it's an appeal or a turning to the source of love, of divine love, that shines in every heart and that sustains us, and it's a metaphor for God. For those who are non-theist among us, it doesn't have perhaps the jarring resonance that the word God has, and I think of it as an invitation to go inward, to go into the depths, or to go outward into the creation that's around us, the life that's around us. So that's what it does for me. And of course, Spirit of Life, which we sang at the beginning, is a UU composed hymn, and perhaps one of the most familiar and most favorite. And some congregations actually sing that every single service. That's it.
Ministers are called on to do so much: pastoral counseling and care, writing and delivering sermons, managing and administrating the daily church functions, keeping tabs on the life of the congregation, attending so many meetings, involvement in the broader UU community, self-care, and more. What aspects of ministerial life do you most enjoy?
I'm supposed to do all those things? Well, I would say that the blessing for me of parish ministry, and the reason I felt called into it, is the opportunity to do a variety of things, to do all of those kinds of things, because I'm an institutionalist, and I like community, I like church, I like working with people, I like getting to know people. So in a pastoral way, I really am honored to be brought into people's lives. And in a community setting, I'm inspired by what people can do together, both in terms of making a difference in the world beyond these walls and in terms of having fun or comforting one another within. So I get to do a lot of different things, and I have to do them just well enough. Don't have to be great, whereas, if I were a surgeon, I would have to do everything I did really, really well.
Who is an unsung Unitarian Universalist, or Unitarian or Universalist, who most of us don't know about but should?
Well, I'm sure it's the asker of that question is an unsung UU, and I should actually, they are on the plaque that says unsung UU. I know who asked all these advanced questions, of course, but yesterday I went through the online dictionary of Unitarian Universalist biography, and I browsed it, and I was inspired to remember all of these famous ministers and lay leaders, musicians and writers that are part of our heritage, and most of them could fill a whole sermon of their own. But I think that a lot of unsung UUs are people who are just steadily supportive, steadily involved in attending their congregation services, in living out their UU values. And I have a show and tell item for my example of that. In 1995-96, I was in seminary in Chicago, and I went to the First Unitarian Church in New Bedford, which is on the southeast coast of Massachusetts, for a year-long internship as a student minister there. And it's an old church, and one of the members there that I got to know was Philip Margolin. And Phil was in his mid-80s, I think, when I was there, and he was there every Sunday, and he would often give announcements inviting people to join him in serving meals to hungry and homeless people at a local ministry that did that. And so that was a real passion of his. And his wife had died a few years earlier. They had, I think, 3 or 4 adult children, and then they had become part of extended family of a Vietnamese refugee family who had moved to New Bedford. And Phil was, he had a garden, and he liked to share his garden produce with friends and neighbors. He used to do shopping for a couple who was blind, and he did other things in that area. I didn't know too much about his background, but Phil was born to parents who were Jewish and who had immigrated from Russia. They had come through Ellis Island in New York, and he grew up outside of Boston. His father ran a tailoring business. But when Phil was 7, his father died, so Phil helped his older sibling to run that tailoring operation. And then World War II came, and he served in the Marines, and then after that he went to a fashion institute for fashion design, and worked for a number of clothing manufacturers, designers, including the Burberry Corporation. And he became the head of the U.S. branch of Burberry's, and he had a central role in choosing this pattern, which is famous on the insides of Burberry trench coats and scarves, of course, and umbrellas. And I didn't know that about him until I read it in his obituary after I had moved away, and he died 3 years later. So thinking about Phil Margolin makes me realize that there are unsung UUs among us and around us right now, all the time. No, thank you.
I am glad that this question got asked. There is much demonization of transgender people in this country currently. What is the UUSS response, and how can I, as a trans woman, be spiritual while facing this demonization? That seems to call into question my right to exist.
I'm grateful for that question. As I said in a sermon in August, it's part of the strategy of fascist movements to identify and target groups in a society that are not very well understood and that are vulnerable in order to stoke fear and hatred, and they do that in order to gain power. And so we need to confront what is happening, the intentional demonization and misunderstanding, and confront it with love and with courage in support of trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming people. And we need to be communities of support and love, continuing to grow, continuing to learn, continuing to actually demonstrate what it means to say that love is at the center of our faith. And the question about how can you be spiritual if you're being attacked in this way, it is quite a challenge. And I would say that the main thing to do is to care for your spirit, to care for your well-being. And one of the ways that a number of people have done that is to find a community of support and allies, which we strive to be here. And at the denominational level, the UUA has a program called Uplift, and it's been a leader in religion in America toward understanding and inclusivity and justice related to gender and gender identity, sexual orientation, and also our congregations in Florida and other southern states where they are, through legislation targeting people, have provided sources of support, sanctuary, comfort, and also helped some people move out of those states to safer places.
If the universe told you, Roger, you can no longer be a minister, you must choose a different career, how would you respond?
Well, I assume this is not like a fantasy job. It would have to be something I could do, to actually do. And that makes me think back to what I thought about when I was a younger person about careers. And I think I'm too old to think about law school. And I was involved in journalism for 2 semesters on the campus newspaper. And I gave that up, though I really enjoyed it in some ways, but I was really stressed by the regularity of the deadlines. And so I've traded that in for occasional Saturday deadlines or Sunday morning deadlines, depending on the week. And I think I might like to write theater reviews, but I think there's less money in that these days, less compensation for that than there is in other kinds of journalism. And I always like working with people, customer service, and so this question made me think, well, I might enjoy waiting tables, I might enjoy working at a cash register, but if I were in a retail store, I would want to tell people that, this item was made in China, or which has a record of serious human rights abuses. If I were waiting tables, I would say, well, that has a lot of saturated fat in it, and this fish item is really not sustainable, so that wouldn't be so good. So I think maybe I could be a clerk for a vendor at an organic vegetable stand at the farmer's market and feel okay about it. So the universe hasn't spoken unless that it was speaking through the questioner. But I do like church, so I would hope that even if I couldn't be a minister anymore, I could still be a Sunday school teacher, because I think that would keep me alive and spiritually alive. So thanks.
This person sent a series of questions, so a little bit of rapid fire here, Roger. Roger, is your natural ease singing to it or dancing to it?
Singing to it.
Reading it or watching it?
Reading it.
Cooking it or eating it?
Eating it. Yeah, people know that. Okay.
Planning it or doing it?
Doing it. I find the most memorable times of travel are when I have to figure out how to get places and when I get lost. And I'm not a person who reads the directions first. So.
Observing it or participating in it?
Depends on what it is, but if it's athletics or things from great heights, or I could fall from great heights, then probably just observing it. And if it's church, participating.
Going away or coming home?
Coming home, except for the jet lag.
And handwriting it or typing it?
Probably either, although I do more typing now on the computer, but definitely not typing on the cell phone.
Okay, that's the end of part 1. So thank you, Roger. Okay. If you haven't already submitted a question in the chat or on the pieces of paper on the back 2 tables, you may do that now during the gift of music. Roger asks you to write your name on it. If he isn't able to get to your question, he wants to know who asked the question so he can follow up later. Thank you, Irina. That was beautiful. Our congregation's mission statement says, "We come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world." We live out this mission in many ways, including the practice of generosity. We give half of every Sunday's offering to a local organization working to heal the world. Our community partner for this month is the River City Food Bank. Every weekday, River City provides fresh, healthy food with the choices reflecting the cultural diversity of this area. It provides emergency food and non-food items at its location in Midtown and here in Arden Arcade, serving lifelong Sacramento residents as well as new immigrants and refugees, to the working poor and to those living on the streets. To address childhood hunger, it provides healthy snacks to schools, and it helps families to enroll in the CalFresh program for assistance. It assists those who are unhoused and those barely hanging on. Thank you for your generosity to UUSS and our community partner. On the slide and in the chat on Zoom, you can see how you can contribute electronically or by mailing in a check here to UUSS. You can even text your donation from your seat. This morning's offering will now be given and received. Please join me in speaking the unison words of response to the offering, which appear on the slide. May generosity bless our world, and may gratitude nourish our spirits.
It was notable that the cooks in the congregation knew the answer to the question of whether I would rather cook it or eat it. So
Now it gets exciting. This comes from Lisa. Why do so many humans seem so willing to believe hateful lies about other humans?
that is a really important question, and I assume anthropologists would have a more sophisticated answer, but it seems that fear, protection is sort of part of our evolved makeup, and that it's very easy to have that kind of fear evoked or sparked, and that we're thinking beings, and we think things that aren't reasonable, but that means that our thinking can be manipulated by things that will provoke our fear, and also our reactivity, which is why I think we're hateful, vengeful, too much of the time in too many examples of history. And that's one of the reasons why I think communities are important. I mean, often violence comes out of communities, often judging other people comes out of communities with very strong identities, but also communities that try to cultivate values, cultivate understanding, cultivate connection are really important to, and it doesn't have to be just a faith community, but all kinds of ways to bring people together to see that, to see our common humanity.
This question from Karen: what do you think is the biggest challenge facing UUSS?
The biggest challenge facing UUSS? I don't think we have like a great big challenge. We have a lot of possibilities and a lot of challenges. We always have challenges with regard to our facilities, but those are also opportunities. We always have a challenge for greater generosity and stewardship to really power our values and power our visions. But I think there's so many things that are going really well here. There's so many people working together to do wonderful things that I don't think of something that is intimidating the way the question sounds to me.
We received a couple questions about books, but I selected this one from Barbara. What nonfiction book written in the last 100 years has been the most influential on your spiritual life?
Wow. Expanding the Financial Base of the Congregation was a book that I read in seminary. That was a joke, actually. I'll have to think about that. Lots of things could come to mind, but nothing is coming to mind right now.
Okay, here's an easy one. Not really. What do we do if Trump finds a way to win again?
Well, by that I would say if an autocratic movement is successful in taking power of our government, I think that people of faith whose faith is one of love and fairness and justice and nonviolence need to oppose it as well as we can and protest it, resist it. I would much rather put, and I expect that I would feel called to do that, but I would much rather put my time, my efforts, my money, my voice into keeping an autocratic movement from taking control of our government now than resisting it if it were able to do that. So that's why I'm outspoken and involved now.
Time for two more questions, I think. This one from Pearson. How does Unitarian Universalism incorporate ideas from other religions and spiritual practices while maintaining its own unique identity and belief system?
That's a great question. You see, we have banners from various faith and cultural traditions here that reflects our sense of respect and humility and openness to learning. Our values, you can show the value slide now, which were recently ratified by votes by delegates to our denominational assembly, are reflected, they will be reflected on the slide soon, but, and the values are a sort of successor to the UU principles. They sort of guide how we do, what we're about, what we affirm. But in terms of the structure of our way of being in congregational life comes from our heritage as congregational Protestant churches in the congregational tradition. And so a lot of our structure does look like church. But we can learn a lot, and we have many people in our congregations who identify as Christians or humanists or UUs who are Jewish or Hindu or Muslim and Buddhist and pagan and anything else I might have forgotten. So it's kind of like an interfaith movement that looks kind of American Protestant from the outside.
And our last question, we got several questions about dogs, but so you can expand, but do you like dogs?
I do like dogs, and I had a couple when I was we had a couple when I was growing up, and they make me playful and goofy, and they bring that out in me, and I like watching them. And when I was in high school, I was really concerned about, and I guess I still am, but I was really like obsessed with the overpopulation problem of dogs and cats in this country, and so I continue to care about that. But I enjoy dogs, even though I currently don't have one.
You're off the hook now, Roger.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, and maybe these other questions will show up in a sermon near you one of these days. So thank you very much. And our closing.
With all those questions in tow, we seek answers to life's greater questions as well in the answering of the call of love. The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide. And so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim We are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Please join me in speaking the words on the slide as we prepare to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but we carry the light, love, and commitment of this gathering into the days to come.
I invite you to reach out to us as we reach out to you. If you're at home, reach out to us as we strive to stay connected to you. May you depart in peace and be led forth in joy. For all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. And for all who seek a right path, may a way be found and the courage to take it step by step, one day at a time. Blessed be.